Hey friends, how you doing? This is Bill. You're watching Bill's Box of Sound, and what you're about to see is what I intended as making this two videos, part one and part two. Basically, this is all of my Frank Zappa and Frank Zappa related books that I currently own, or at least all the ones that I can find right now. As I say in the video, there's more in this house, and there's more that I have to buy and more that I have to read. But just like collecting Zappa music, collecting Zappa books is a lifelong endeavor. And well, enjoy this. I'll splice the whole thing together. If I repeat myself, please accept my heartfelt apologies. Have a great day. Catch you later. Hello friends, it's Bill, and you're watching Bill's Box of Sound. Time to get a little bookwormy. Yes, sir. And on my most recent live stream, by the way, I do live streams on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Pacific. And my grandson hangs out, and we have a good time talking about records and music and answering questions in the chat room and all that other fun stuff. But that's not what this video is about. But on my most recent live stream, somebody made a comment, said, please, Bill, please make a video showing off your Zappa and Zappa-related books. So I was moving these to another location in the house because I'm running out of room until I take care of some other home improvements. But here's the first box right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the box and show you everything that's in it real quickly. Okay, so let's start with this book right here. I've shown this before. This is the Zappa coloring book. It's put out by the Zappa people. It's got all sorts of black and white images of Frank from different cartoonists, all part of the Fantunes art studio. They do some of the work on some of the newer Zappa releases. And there's the back of that. It's a Zappa coloring book. I think that's still in print. You can still buy it. What else do we have here? We've got a wonderful book called Zappa Gear by Mick Eckers, forward by Dweezil Zappa. This is a really good reference of different types of guitars, drums, amplifiers, keyboards, picks, amplifiers, synthesizers, the synclavier, vintage microphones, drums, just wonderful stuff. There were 2 episodes of the Zappa cast that featured this and a lot of cool talk about it. So you might want to check that out. It's Zappa Gear by Mick Eckers. Right there. We've got a couple of Scott Parker books. Scott Parker is the host of the Zappa cast, and he's written a whole bunch of books about Frank. This one's called Preposterous, which is Frank Zappa on Stage Volume 8. And I've got another book of his, Hungry Freak Steady, which is Volume 1 of the recordings of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. And I intended to purchase his most recent one, which is a compilation of the Mother People newsletter. Very excited about that. What else we've got? Oh, we got some magazines here. We've got Keyboard Magazine from February of 1987, where Frank does a lot of talking about the synclavier. The definitive tribute to Frank Zappa in his own words. This was published by, it's even got ads for the Z album, which is Shampoo Horn. So this thing's about 30 years old then. Let's see, display until June 33. From the publishers of Guitar Player and Keyboard. And there's lots of cool stuff in here. This is not in print, of course. You've also got another keyboard and guitar player. Zappa. Is he America's best kept musical secret? This is the one that started it all. My first book about Zappa from Norbert or Nobby Oberman's Zappalog. The first step of Zappology. This is the first version that was published in the U.S. from Rhino Books. Does it have a copyright date on it? 1982. And man, this is a fun little piece of reference. I've got number 1 of 4. There are 4 of these. The Torchum Never Stops. I see this a lot on the Zappa groups that are on Facebook. People showing those things. And it says here that this book is here because you're there. It contains material which a truly furious society, blah, 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 blah. And this is made only by fans for other fans of Frank Zappa. If you enjoy it, give us a reaction, will ya? So this is the Torchum Never Stops, Volume 1, of which there are 4, and I don't have the other 3. This is a book which is not straight. If it's cut at an angle, if you take a look at it. And it's called A la Zappa. What country did this come from? This came from Germany. Got all sorts of weird stuff in a Zappa-esque style. A lot of old ads here for Billy the Mountain, for just another band from LA. A lot of this book is in German. It's got a bunch of lyrics. It's got some music. And it's got all sorts of artwork. It's got photographs. A la Zappa. A la Zappa. This I've seen in many used record stores. You can get this. It's just called Zappa. It's by Dominique Chevalier with St. Martin's Press. Frank Zappa, Alchemist and His Work. And this has, that was some nice, very nice pictures of Frank there. And all sorts of other things. The Shake Your Booty session, or Shake Your Booty. And Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, Frank and Moon, Frank with the piano, all sorts of cool stuff there. I like this picture as well. All right, this book here, Frank Zappa, a visual documentary by Miles. Very, very serious. And it's got also a fully illustrated chronology of the extraordinary career of Frank Zappa from all of these years. I don't know if you want to freeze frame that and read it, enlarge it on your computer, but lots of great pictures in this one. And yes, this is in English. There's Frank and Gail. And it's a good picture. All sorts of cool stuff. The Collected History and Improvisations of Frank Zappa by Greg Russo. The revised edition, also called Cosmic Debris. Got a picture of Frank with his parents on the back. And lots of information in this book. Record covers, etc. From Crossfire Publications now. We've got the Frank Zappa Guitar Book, which is transcriptions of Frank Zappa guitar solos by Steve Vai. As you can see, there's lots of good stuff in here. The big note, which is in print, and if you are a die-hard Zappa fan, you must have this book. It's very important. A great reference work. You'll be going through it over and over and over and over again. Of course, the book that Frank wrote himself, the real Frank Zappa book, the original hardback version by Frank with Peter Occhio-Grosso, and nice artwork. and a lot of Frank's actual words. Essential. Let's see. In his own words, edited by Miles, Frank Zappa. So this has what is supposed to be a lot of quotes from interviews of Frank throughout here, and pictures as well. Swiss cheese, fire! And also stuff about Captain Beefheart. There's a nice picture of Frank. Let's see, this book is called Confessions of a Zappa Fanatic, H.T. Brown, aka Tom Brown. A book about being an uber Zappa fan. And it's got all sorts of stuff in here, including interviews with people. And I don't know if this is still in print or not. This book is in print, and it's very essential. Zappa the Hard Way by our friend Andrew Greenaway, who has some other books out that I really should invest in, because if this is any indication, the other books he's written are very good. This was a page-turner. I really enjoyed reading this book. It's all about the 1988 tour and the implosion of the band Within. What else? Okay, Shell Shocked. My Life with the Turtles, Flo and Eddie and Frank Zappa, etc. Howard Kalin. You know who he is. He's Eddie of Flo and Eddie. And a great artwork is by Kalashenko on the cover. It's got great pictures and great stories in it. And I know that Mark Volman, aka Flo, he just put out a book, I believe it's called Happy Together Forever. I have to pick that up. Oh, okay. One of the very first books that was published about Frank Zappa, No Commercial Potential. I used to have a copy of this that was made from photocopies of this book that I got from the library, but I finally found a used copy and picked it up. Lots of inaccuracies and spelling mistakes in this book, including Dweezil's name. Come on. Why do you go ahead and misspell Dweezil's name? This book was written by Frank's dad. Yes, Chances and How to Take Them by Zappa. Francis Vincent Zappa. Not Frank Zappa, Francis. And this was assembled by the guy who did one of the other books, Greg Russo. Kind of prepared this for reissue, because it's got a ad of the Cosmic Debris book, and it's also got an ad for Frank's sister, My Brother Was a Mother, Take 2. I also have the book Bobby and Frankie someplace, but I'm not too sure where it is. That was written by Frank's brother. Frank Zappa, The Negative Dialectics of Poodle Play. Look at this big mother of a book. It's like 582 pages. It's written by Ben Watson. Take all the stuff in this book with a grain of salt. To quote Thingfish, this guy, to me, is like an overeducated shithead. Sorry, Ben, if you're watching, but that's just how I felt, especially at the end of the book where he reads excerpts from this book to Frank on his deathbed, and Frank is cracking up laughing at them. I don't look upon that as an endorsement of this book. However, very interesting as to his insights and his conclusions of the connections between Frank's work and King Lear and other Shakespeare works. It's interesting. If you can find it cheap, get it. But I paid full price for it. Ugh. Whoa, what else? We've got The Frank Zappa Story, Mother, written by Michael Gray. And let's see here. He also wrote a book about Bob Dylan. And let's see, there's a few pictures in here. Is that Frank with Herb Cohen? Frank with Herb Cohen. Oh, Frankie. Oh, Herbie. Growing Up Pictures of Frank. This is another biography. And what else have we got? I've got photocopied from the guy who wrote this. Now, this is all photocopied. This is a handwritten book called Project Documentation. This is by Den Sims. He was part of the society pages. Den Sims and Robert Samler, and they did the society pages fanzine, as well as the Mother of All Interviews, and this book, all about the 1988 tour. They traveled onto the tour, and this entire book is written by hand. Truly amazing. I have not read the entire thing, but it is impressive. Just tiny, tiny, tiny print. Oh, and page 83 of this book is a photocopy of an article I wrote for Scene magazine in March of 1988, just before he played Cleveland. So, fancy that. Also, lots of articles, photocopies of articles, of reviews of the 88 show, interviews with Frank, great stuff of photographs that they took when they were on the tour. It would be nice to get this bound one day. Project Documentation by the one and only Den Sims. Oh man. Okay. Now we're going to get into some random pieces and parts of stuff here. We've got the very first article I ever wrote about Frank Zappa. This is my first interview, where I recorded the interview and the tape recorder malfunctioned, so I had to write the entire story from memory. This is from 1984, September, also for Scene magazine in Cleveland. His best friends are computers. He was talking about Johnny Guitar Watson and his composition Strike on Computers. Here is an advertisement for a Strictly Commercial, The Best of Frank Zappa, which I did some research for. We've got, oh, this is Zappa related. Pieces of paper and documentation sent to me by Mike Keneally himself, because I bought a whole bunch of homemade cassettes from him. His tar tapes collection. Also, the drop control stuff. And I have here some 8x10 glossies of the maestro himself. This one and this one. Okay. And the last bits and pieces that are in this box are, I copied down the music to Uncle Meat. Dun, 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 dun. A pamphlet that I composed. Say, when was this? This was, is there a date in this? March 1994. I, for a short time, had a mail order Zappa business called Trails End Music. And that business is now defunct. I don't sell records via mail order. Here's the November 1993 catalog for Trails End, which also included other types of music for people who like alternative weirdo stuff. A press release from Ryko Disc, and their, at that point in time, accumulation and when they were taking care of the Zappa catalog as we know it. And that is it in that box. So, I got more. There will be a part 2 of this. So, this is volume 2 of this. It's going to be a lot shorter because this is the second box. I have more than Zappa stuff in here, but I wanted to finish showing you my Zappa and Zappa related books and things. And once again, this is not complete. There's lots more books out there, and there are also some more books hidden elsewhere in this house where I've forgotten where I put them. So let's pull this out and show you these books here. Here's an old one. I got this when I was still in high school. The Frank Zappa Songbook, Volume 1. This is an actual, honest to gosh, music book with actual musical scores to such songs as prepared with a lot of involvement from Frank. Brown Shoes Don't Make It, Mother People, Igor's Boogie, Penis Dimension, How Could I Be Such a Fool, Let's Make the Water Turn Black, Oh No, America Drinks and Goes Home, Son of Susie Cream Cheese, excerpt from music for electric violin and low budget symphony orchestra, I'm Not Satisfied, Mom and Dad, Absolutely Free, Uncle Meat, Idiot Bastard Son, and the piano introduction to Little House I Used to Live In. Plus, at the end, you've got actual handwritten scores from 200 Motels for the orchestra. Very cool stuff. I treasure this book. I've had it forever. Some other music books. We've got Apostrophe, which has, lead sheets and also transcribed solos from most of the album. And we've got the Mojo magazine from the UK had a special Mojo Classic Collector's Edition Zappa. What year did this one come out? 2010. And Frank Zappa, and Alice Cooper wrote the intro to the whole thing. Very neat, and lots of great pictures, articles, etc. about Frank and people that he played with. Let's see. This is a Mark Mothersbaugh book. It's not Zappa related, but it's in the box. Got a book about Sun Ra. Here is a loose leaf binder, which I call Zappa stuff. And it's got all sorts of things. It's got all of the OB strips from the tops of the Ryko disc releases that came out in 1995. What else has it got in here? Man, just all sorts of artwork and stickers. And different postcards from Barking Pumpkin Records. This is not available in stores. This is mine, okay? A lot of paraphernalia from Ryko disc. Sales work for Frank. You've also got photocopied art ad material, some articles. Also got some emails between myself and Zappa fans. I've got I mentioned in the past video that I used to have a mail order concern called Trails and Music, and I've got a bunch of my written catalogs that I put together, which also has commentary on a lot of the songs as well. For example, I have all sorts of related stuff. I got a listing for a John Cage tribute. Let's see, Zappa's Universe, recorded at a series of concerts at New York in November '91 to celebrate Frank's 50th birthday year. Performers include Mike Keneally, Scott Tunis, Matt Soberg, Morgan Agron, The Persuasions, Rockapella, Steve Vai, Dweezil Zappa, and Joe Tome's Orchestra of Our Time. All Zappa compositions, Night School performed by an orchestra is amazing, and lots of old FZ favorites are performed with accuracy and affection. The CD has songs that are not on the video, and the video has songs that are not on the CD. This is released in 1991. Okay, more emails between myself and some other Zappa fanatics around the world. What we got here, Oh, 1974 ad of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention playing at Music Hall in Cleveland. My review of One Size Fits All from 1975 in Scene magazine. Wait, no, that's not my review. No, this was published in 1975. I was still going to high school back then. This is written by good old Mark Kometsko, the late Mark Kometsko. But it does have an article of my first interview with Frank and my second interview with Frank, and some honker home video stuff. Picture of the, I think it's an 81 or 82 band. Let's see, more Zappa ads, honker home video, classical music and review for Zappa's Universe. Press releases from Ryko Disc, more and more stuff, Record Review magazine, photocopies. Is this a Japanese thing here? Yeah, this is a Japanese advertisement for Zappa CDs. A press kit from the 1988 tour, including a lot of the Porn Wars stuff. And what's at the very end of this? More photocopies from different magazines. So that's this entire binder there. A Devo book. Here's something that's, I believe, still in print. The Hot Rats book, written by Amit and Bill Gubbins, who took a lot of the great pictures in here. It's also a great Cleveland connection with pictures of Frank and the Mothers at Music Carnival back in the 60s, right before Hot Rats was recorded. Fantastic pictures in that book as well. I highly recommend it. Let's see. A book about record collecting called Dust and Grooves. We've got a music folio for Hot Rats. All the songs transcribed, guitar solos, etc. And last but certainly not least, we've got the Broadway the Hard Way program from the last tour. Bought this at the Cleveland concert. Oh, check it out. There is Ed Mann and Michael Keneally. So that is it. That's all of the Zappa books that I know the whereabouts of in my house. And there is more to come. You can never stop collecting. So thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I also do a live stream on Saturday nights, which I talked about in the previous video, so I'm repeating myself. Had a great time, if you couldn't tell. Hope you did too. Go listen to some music, preferably Frank Zappa, or something that reminds you of Frank Zappa. You never know.